Hello everyone, I'm Nick Hobden. I'm a partner and head of the employment team at Thompson Sell & Passmore, and I'm joined for this video today by my colleague Matthew Morrison, otherwise known as Matt, who is a solicitor in the team and has just joined us recently. And so very delighted to be joined by Matt to talk about ACAS Early Conciliation and what it means, particularly in the light of the changes that have come into force recently at the end of last year. And so to start with, I want to ask you about early conciliation, Matt, and why it matters for employers.
Of course, so early conciliation is a form of alternative dispute resolution offered by ACAS, the Advisory Conciliation and Arbitration Service, and its purpose is effectively to allow employers and employees to resolve a dispute before the matter is escalated to a tribunal. When an employee notifies ACAS that they intend to bring a claim, the time limit, the usual 3-month time limit for bringing the claim is stopped, giving the parties the opportunity to reach a settlement. If a settlement is reached, then it can be formalised in a COT 3. If not, then ACAS will issue a certificate to the employee, which then allows them to take the matter to the tribunal.
So Matt, what are the advantages and disadvantages of early conciliation?
Well, firstly, settling early will allow an employer to avoid the cost and time of preparing for a hearing, and also it will help an employer avoid any negative publicity that may surround a claim that reaches the tribunal. In terms of disadvantages, it can be hard for an employer to assess the risk of a claim before it's formally issued because they don't have the full details. And beyond that, the effectiveness of early conciliation may not be particularly beneficial if an employer wishes to take initially a tougher stance against the employee to see if they will subsequently issue the claim or not.
So Matt, can you talk to me about the changes that were made at the end of last year to the ACAS early conciliation regime?
Yeah, absolutely. So previously, the maximum early conciliation period was 6 weeks. For any cases that were notified to ACAS on or after the 1st of December 2025, however, that period has been extended to 12 weeks.
So Matt, given that the maximum period for early conciliation has been extended from 6 weeks to 12 weeks, as you say, for any early conciliation applications made after the 1st of December last year, what does it mean for employers in practice?
Well, in practice, the main issue for employers will simply be the length of time that they have to monitor any potential claims. Employers should also bear in mind that from October this year, the current 3-month time limit for bringing a claim in the tribunal is going to be extended to 6 months. So combined with the 12-week early conciliation window, it does mean that it may be 9 months in total after an employee has left their employment before an employer is actually aware of a claim.
So Matt, given that potential for long periods of time before an employer receives an employment tribunal claim, or perhaps even before they receive the notification of an employee's intention to use the early conciliation service through ACAS, what practical steps should employers take?
Well, there are a few. I think the first one would be keeping really comprehensive records. So ensuring emails, messages, perhaps any disciplinary or grievance records are maintained for as long as a year after an employee has left, in case a claim subsequently is brought to the tribunal. Another piece of advice to employers would be early preparation. Once a claim is even suspected, it's really important to get documents, evidence in order to avoid anything being forgotten further down the line. And then finally, just having clear procedures and ensuring that managers, HR staff, etc. Know what to do should a claim be brought so that it can be dealt with effectively should that occur.
So Matt, whilst this video is primarily aimed for the benefit of employers, let's just take a moment to reflect on how the changes impact employees and what potential benefit there is to them.
Well, the benefit for employees is just having more time to reach a settlement. So which will be particularly beneficial in a complex dispute. They'll have longer to consider their options, to take legal advice, negotiate the terms of the settlement, and hopefully end up with a more balanced settlement at the end of everything.
Matt, thank you very much for that clear explanation of how the ACAS early conciliation regime is changing. That's really useful to know, and for future reference, it's important that whether you're employer or employee, that you understand the ACAS regime. It's certainly worth reading the ACAS guidance on early conciliation. It's very useful, it's very practical. So thank you very much indeed for watching, and see you next time.